Okay, so let's dive into this really fascinating shift that's happening right now in technology. We're seeing this profound change in how we actually create things, moving away from writing super complex, line-by-line code to, just stating what we want, our intention.
And this single question, it just absolutely hits the nail on the head. It perfectly sums up this entire evolution. We're moving away from the rigid, strict rules of machines and getting so much closer to the way we humans naturally think and reason.
To really get our heads around this shift, we need a good mental model. And honestly, the best one I've found is called the ladder of abstraction. It's a super powerful way to think about how we solve problems.
The whole idea comes from a linguist, S.I. Hayakawa, and it's actually beautifully simple. When you ask why, you're climbing up the ladder. You get that big picture view, you understand the purpose. But when you ask how, you start climbing down to get into the nitty-gritty details, the actual implementation.
And here's the crucial part. All the really cool, innovative stuff happens right there, in the space between those two questions. For decades, developers have spent most of their time and energy on the how. But now, technology is evolving to let us hang out at the top of the ladder, to stay focused on the why.
So, what does this ladder actually look like in the real world? Well, the first big steps up came from the world of software development, with the whole low-code and no-code movement.
These platforms really came about out of pure necessity. The demand for new apps just exploded, and there was no way we had enough developers to build everything. So low-code and no-code showed up as a way to bridge that massive gap.
What's really interesting here is how it's split into two different paths for two totally different groups of people. Low-code gave pro developers superpowers to work way faster, while no-code basically opened the door for non-developers to build stuff for the very first time.
And this table just lays out the trade-offs perfectly. Low-code gives you all this power for big, complicated, enterprise-level systems. But no-code? That's all about pure, unadulterated speed for simpler things. You can whip up a functional app with almost no testing. It's really about picking the right tool for the job.
And honestly, this is the real game changer. By hiding away all the complicated code, these platforms mean you're not totally dependent on a small handful of specialists anymore. If you've got a great idea in the marketing department, you don't have to wait in line for IT. You can just build it yourself.
But low-code? That was really just the beginning. In just the last few years, we've taken a quantum leap. AI is now adding entirely new rungs way up at the top of our ladder, and it's creating a whole new, much more natural way to build.
So the key skill for this new world is something called prompt engineering. It's really not like programming at all. It's more like having a very specific, very structured conversation with an AI. It's all about mastering the art of asking the right question in the right way.
And don't for a second think this is just about asking simple questions. As you can see from all these different techniques, it's a really deep and complex skill set. You can use prompts to make an AI think through a problem step by step, come up with brand new ideas, or even teach it new things by giving it specific documents to read.
All right, so this new skill of prompt engineering is taking us right to the cutting edge. And out there, this whole world of AI-powered creation is splitting into two very distinct and very powerful new models.
This image just captures the difference perfectly. On one side, you've got vibe coding, where you, the human, are right there in the cockpit as a co-pilot. And on the other, you have agentic coding, where you're more like a commander, delegating the entire mission to an autonomous AI agent. Think of vibe coding. It's like a creative jam session with an AI. It's this constant back-and-forth conversation. It's perfect for brainstorming, for building quick prototypes, and just for exploring ideas when you don't even know exactly what the final product is going to look like yet.
Agentic coding, though, is all about mission command. You give the AI a really high-level goal, something like refactor our entire user login system, and then you just let it go. It will create its own plan, write the code, run the tests, and even find and fix its own bugs.
So the most important thing to see here is how the developer's role just fundamentally changes. With vibe coding, you are a co-creator, you're a guide. But with agentic coding, you become a supervisor. You're not just guiding a tool anymore, you're managing an autonomous worker. So if AI is just going to keep getting better and better at the how, and it's climbing this ladder for us, what skills do we as humans actually need to focus on to stay valuable?
Well, the focus shifts away from things like writing perfect code syntax and moves toward high-level strategy. It's about being fantastic at defining the problem, being a skilled architect, and a really savvy collaborator who knows exactly how to give the AI the right context and the right guardrails to get the job done.
And that really leaves us with a final, powerful thought. As technology gets better and better at turning our intentions into reality, maybe our greatest contribution, our most valuable skill, is no longer the technical how, but the strategic, the visionary, and the deeply human why.